Hi, everyone. Mitch from PickDogs.com, SportsChatPlace.com. I changed my lighting today. I got to say, I'm a little hot, is what it looks like. So, might have to fix that. You know, these are all things. I'm just testing out some of the new equipment for the new studio. Of course, anyone that's, well, I have the double whammy going on here. Number one is normally I have to buy everything online anyway because we have no stores here, but then it's like electronic equipment. Not only do you not know if you're buying the right equipment, it's also then there's also like there's a million different plugs, you know, that goes into everything, and the ones that come in the box are never the ones you need, you know. So it's like HDMI. Now there's like even more plugs than ever, right? USB 3, USB 3.0C, HD Mini, HDMI Mini, HDMI regular. And it's like the odds of getting the right plugs that you need are slimmer and slimmer every day. And of course, so the thing, you can't just hook a camera up to your computer. You need to get what's called a capture card. So with everything that's going on, unless you have a camera that's like, you know, like that's a webcam, you know, like a little webcam like I use here, you know, and I think Chris is using one. And it's like, unless you have a webcam, that's you just plug and play. But if you have like a regular camera, like a Sony, like my regular camera, Sony A6400, or the Canon Vixia HFG30, the one that I show you guys that I do the regular videos on, that you need a thing called a capture card, and the capture card, like, you got to plug it in. It's almost like if you want to, you see guys that record like a PlayStation and stuff like that and post it on YouTube. That's how they do it. They use what's called a capture card because it's way too much going into your computer to plug something like that in. It'll blow you up. But you know that. So I buy the wrong capture card. They don't even give you the right cord. And the thing is, it's like it's so not intuitive how to even hook the thing up. It's got a thing that says in and one that says out, and it's like the one that says out isn't the one that you put the plug into. It's like there's two on one side. It's like I had to call these people finally, and it's like, so to find out that not only did I have it set up right, I had the wrong device altogether. So that's where I'm at. Also in the new studio, one of the other things I have is I have a 65-inch TV in the studio already that I use for the Apple TV because when I'm doing the videos, if you guys ever look, like the old ones when I first started doing them, I was always looking down at the iPad. But then I started using Apple TV, and I would have the iPad on the TV screen, so I could always be looking forward. And then I just had the camera in front of us. And I went to Costco, and I was like, what's the best deal I can get on TV? And they had like the Samsung 65-inch, TV. It was like $400 or something. It's like, I'm in. So I got the TV, but the problem is that I only used it for Apple TV. I didn't use it for DirecTV because I always work out here, right, when I'm talking to you guys tonight. You guys have seen all the TVs I have. So I haven't needed a TV back there, a regular TV. But now that I'm going to be doing the live shows from back there, I need that TV to be hooked up. So I called DirecTV. It's like, we're not sending out any technicians because coronavirus. I'm like, well, can you send me the part, and see if I can hook it up myself? It's wireless, right? The Genie. No, we can't do it. So I call, I call the first person I say they can do it, right? The next person I call, they say they can do it or can't do it. The next person I call says they can't do it. What do you guys think happened? Chris, what do you think happened in this scenario? When I called DirecTV 3 times, one person said that it was possible to get a technician out. The other 2 people said I had to wait until after the coronavirus. What do you think happened?
You got someone to come out to you?
No. I got 3 boxes in the mail yesterday. What happened? It's like,
now you got 3 of them.
I know the UPS guy generally likes coming here, and the mailman, because I give out popsicles and bottled waters, when they come. But it's like, I mean, we're just, besides all the other equipment that I've ordered, I mean, we're just getting a little too close. But 3 DirecTV boxes, what the hell are you going to do with these, It's like, I don't know, man. I guess you send them back. But the one I was able to hook up, but actually it's not even the right box because it took away my upper left hand TV from the living room. So I need to get like in the bedroom just a whole separate unit. But it's actually a pretty awesome setup the way the studio's coming. I got like a big rolling cart that like the TV like mounts to it, and then it's got like a shelf where the box goes and the Apple TV and everything. It's really actually super nice. The studio's coming along well, but I would say at this point, May 1st is the day. So not this Monday, the next Monday is when the earliest it'll be ready. It's just a matter of getting all the parts together. But anyways, that's the update with that. Dolphins offered picks or something for Joe Burrow.
That's not happening.
It's not happening. I have to commend them for at least trying.
They tried.
You know,
Yeah, they tried.
I have to commend them for at least trying. It's like I don't think he's a can't miss. You know, to be honest with you, and I think that they're better off with the picks. You know, with how many needs this team has, and to be honest, if they pick Jerry Jeudy tonight, I'm pretty excited about it. So, you know, I still think if you take Tua, you got to take Jake Fromm later.
They're rumored to be swapping picks with Detroit too. They're in talks with Detroit going to 3, and Detroit takes 5.
That Miami is in rumors for that. See, if they have to pay up for that, I'm totally not in favor of it.
Yeah, what do you think the compensation would be to move up 2 slots?
It's usually a 6th round pick. A 5th or 6th, right? Or 4th. They have a lot of picks.
Dolphins are 5th, right? So they're gonna swap. They want to swap. Dolphins want 3rd. And then supposedly they're going to take an offensive lineman in that 3rd spot.
Yeah, they would go after a tackle.
That the Dolphins would there?
Yeah, the Dolphins would there, yeah.
Because they're afraid the Giants are going to take them. I don't mind it.
Which kind of...
I don't mind it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Well, it's going to heat up this afternoon, that's for sure. Before
we'll know in a few hours. And
the phone calls, at least, will be intense until, they commence the draft at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, in the NFL, you don't see the teams drafting for other teams the way that you do in basketball, which is, I don't even understand why the NBA does it that way. It's like, you can't make the trade, but you've made the trade. So it's like you've drafted for somebody else, so the guy is wearing the wrong hat. I mean, it happens all the time, like
all the time.
All the time. It seems the NBA draft is half trades these days. But yeah, I don't like the Dolphins trading up to that 3 spot if it's for Tua.
No, that's not what they're planning. They want to get an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
I think it's all smoke and mirrors, because I got to say that I'm a season ticket holder since day one for the Miami Dolphins, and if they don't take a quarterback, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be an empty stadium, because the Miami fans. Let me explain to you the difference between the Miami fans and every other fan in the country. Okay, there's very few privately owned NFL stadiums out there. There's Jerry World, and then there's the Dolphins Stadium. Okay, there's very, very few that are owned privately. Most of them are owned by the city that they're in. Most of them have to pass a tax referendum on the ballot to get it. So the Dolphins said, Joe Robbie, when he owned the team and he wanted to build this stadium, he said, build me the stadium or I'm moving the team. And they put it on the ballot, and 93% voted against. That's how much people care. Okay, we're not paying for it. See you later. And he's the one that destroyed, the way that football is for the live experience, because he's the one that because in order to finance the stadium, he came up with the idea of the seat licenses, right? And eliminating all these seats and putting in all these luxury boxes and all that stuff all came out of that because he had to pay for the stadium himself. And, Arvida donated the land. It was all this stuff to build the stadium. He went broke, right, and had to sell the team. It was eventually what happened there. A few years, later, 10 years later, whatever, the Marlins were playing out of Joe Robbie Stadium. They used to play in Joe Robbie Stadium. And
That's right.
there was a vote to build the Marlins a stadium. And the Marlins said, if you don't build us a stadium, we're going to leave. And 97% voted against the stadium. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but the next day at the Marlins game, when they said they were leaving, there was 300 people in the stands or less. People just stopped going. The whole rest of the season, they didn't have a game with more than 2,000 people in the stands. The way they built that stadium in downtown Miami is the people hate it, and that's why nobody goes, is because it was a behind-the-doors deal. It wasn't a public vote, and it was a behind-the-doors deal. And the fact that they built it on the site of the old Orange Bowl makes it even worse for most people.
Yeah.
But I will tell you what, the Dolphins don't take a quarterback here, you're going to see a revolt like you've never seen.
Maybe they're trying to swindle 3 and keep 5 too. Take an offensive lineman 3rd and get your QB at 5th.
No way they 3 they're taking an offensive lineman. No way.
There's no way.
If they have 3 and 5.
Who you need to trade up to 3 to get?
Exactly.
There's no one there. There's no John Hanna in this draft. There's no Anthony Munoz in this draft. There is none.
No Anthony Munoz, something like that.
Yeah, it would need to be in order, when the Dolphins took the guy from Michigan, right? Jake Long.
Jake Long.
Right, when they took him up top, it was because there was nobody else, and he was, and they had the number 1 pick. It was kind of just a need. There was nobody else. It was kind of that sort of scenario. It's not like the greatest offensive tackle coming down the pipe, and that one of these top 10 guys in this draft are head and shoulders above the rest. That is a rare day that happens. There's 2, John Hanna, Anthony Munoz. There's most of the other guys, they kind of they had a high ceiling, and some of them, like Jumbo Elliott, they reached that ceiling, but I don't see anybody in this draft that's that just dominating Jonathan Ogden tackle that you're going to have there. I don't see it. Jonathan Ogden, where did he go? 10?
Yeah, he didn't go 3 overall.
I think the only way you see the Dolphins trade up there is if, for whatever reason, say the Chargers try to make a move for 3, they can't get 3, and they somehow get the Giants to give up number 4. And, Miami has a guy in mind. They're worried the Chargers are going to go get him. Then they try to go after 3. But that's the only situation I can see.
I think Miami, the Dolphins are better off if the Chargers do trade up to take someone. I think they're better off getting the other guy. Maybe they think Love is going to be there later on, and that's the guy. If that tackle story is true. But I don't see it, I don't see it.
Well, the Giants are open for business. Gettleman said that 2 months ago. So at 4, depending, but the Giants are definitely open to listening to move back a couple slots. So that we know.
We do sim game picks at the end of the show. President of the University of Arizona saying possibly no football season. Andrew Thomas. Oh, man, with that. You want to see a revolt. You want to see an all-time low in season ticket sales the year after the Super Bowl was in Miami, because at least they had that carrot. Now they don't even have that.
Andrew Thomas. Yeah. Revolt. I'll wear a bag on my head if that happens.
Dolphins won't take a QB because they've had a really good run at QB since Dan Marino, right? Yeah,
Oh,
they won't take a QB.
been the
They took
Ramones.
Ryan Tannehill at 7 or something. It's like, you know, they're most definitely taking a QB. You know, you traded a 2nd-round pick. I hated the trading of the second. They lose nothing here by trading a 2nd-round pick for Josh Rosen. That's like what 2nd-round pick is like what you could get a team starting wide receiver for a 2nd-round pick these days. You know, the way that these trades work.
Yep.
I mean, Josh Gordon, before he was thrown out of the league, was traded for a 2nd-round. That was the asking price on him.
Well, I mean, you compare it to what we're talking about maybe for this year's draft. That could be a guy like a J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, even one of those low end. Like, I don't want to say low end, but like one of the later receivers we were talking about, like a Denzel Mims or a T. Higgins, if they're available at that spot. That's a good player. To trade that for Josh Rosen.
The Dolphins are thinking they're going to be good next year with Fitz, lots of free agents. So here's all everybody chiming in here, and that's what our show and our site and everything is all about. But you guys got to keep your story straight, man. You know, as far as I'm concerned, because these are the same people that were saying the Dolphins were tanking so they could pick Tua, right? I mean, it's one or the other, man. It can't be both. You know, either you're tanking because you need to take a Tua or a quarterback, right? Or you want Ryan Fitzpatrick and not be grooming a guy where you have a top 5 pick in the draft. And if you think you're going to win with Fitz, it doesn't mean he's got to play right away. All that does is that affords you a year where you can sit on the bench, which I think is always a good thing for a quarterback. The best ones do. The best ones do sit on the bench for a year. I don't know, man. I don't see how the Dolphins don't take a quarterback tonight. I just don't see it.
They got to.
They have to.
They will. Top of the draft, you're going to go get your quarterback, like we just talked about. They're not looking for Andrew Thomas or some tackle in the top 5. No way.
Andrew Thomas is he even looking? You know, if he is even looking in that direction.
The highest I've seen it was like 9th to Cleveland.
So Kuiper now has Tua to the Dolphins. He's switched back. He said it was all a smokescreen, the Justin Herbert thing. And he has Derek Brown going to the Lions instead of Okudah. Which I think that 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Both those guys are can't miss in my book.
I agree.
Isaiah Simmons to the Panthers. Tristan Wirfs to the Giants. See, this stuff all kind of makes sense. So you're saying that they would trade up to the Lions to take Wirfs? I don't see it.
Nope, I don't see it either.
I don't see that either.
Yeah, no.
Then they have Okudah to the Jags. See, that moving up of Brown moves everyone back. Moves Judy all the way back to the 49ers here. And then Jefferson, the second wide receiver taken, just where I had him, you know. So Kuiper obviously watches the show and listens to my picks because I had Jefferson going second for the wide receivers too. Guy only caught like 6 million passes and runs a 4.44. He had 5 touchdowns in the playoff game. It's like, yeah, okay.
He watched the show and listened to Chris and I. We both have Justin Jefferson going to the Eagles.
No, he's got him to the Bucks. See, he's got a wide receiver run. And then Xavier McKinney to the Cowboys. Javon Kinlaw still to the Dolphins. See, I could see the Dolphins, if they go to that 3 pick, Derek Brown. I could see that a lot more than I could see an offensive tackle. I could see Derek Brown at that 3 pick for the Dolphins.
They're going to take their quarterback of the future.
Yeah, I think so too.
They have Cesar Ruiz to the Patriots here. I don't see it. You know, I don't see it. I think it's a trade down or a guy that's a frontline name guy, kind of like the Sonny Michel pick. Cesar Ruiz is not a Patriot name, you know, for a first round pick. It's not a guy. They're going to pick a guy that you're like, oh man, I can't believe they got this guy. He's the guy that they got.
Like we talked about, the Patriots have a lot of holes. I think David Andrews is their center. I think he's got some injury problems. So, you know, he's a good player, but I think he is banged up. So I'm not saying that is far-fetched. It's a need, but we shall see.
So he's got Jonathan Taylor going to the Chiefs in the first round here, and that would be the first running back taken ahead of DeAndre Swift. Something that we talked about yesterday in our prop betting. That he's got Jonathan Taylor now ahead of DeAndre Swift here at the last second. And here's what's called. Have you ever watched a game of college football in the last 2 years? Here's his commentary. Okay, Taylor was prolific for the Badgers, and his 4.39 40-yard dash time at the combine opened some eyes. All right, I've watched Wisconsin. All right, 24 games in the last 2 years, right? It's Jonathan Taylor running a 4.39. Is that a shocker to anyone? The only shocker there is that it wasn't a 4.35, right? I mean, I don't understand that comment. How does that open some eyes and him rushing for 2,000 yards twice, you know, in 11 game seasons, not open any eyes? What does that mean? What are you talking about? What, now on draft day you finally realize that Jonathan Taylor is fast? That's basically what he's saying here. It's draft day. By the way, I think this Jonathan Taylor is pretty fast.
Breaking news.
Who do you like in a race, Jonathan Taylor or Rod?
Oh man, that's close. Yeah, I don't know. That's a coin flip to me. I might have to go Taylor, but it's not going to be by much.
So the Chiefs kind of caught lightning in a bottle last year at running back, but they have had, you know, they do kind of go back to the well, and you know so Anderson, Damian Williams, who was another Alabama running back that played at Miami that went somewhere else and you know was fantastic. Kenyon Drake, right? Same thing. I mean, you all of a sudden, the guy should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl, arguably. You just go out and say, you're not with us anymore. Is that how you treat them? I mean, that is the NFL. But Andy Reid generally isn't that guy.
He's not going anywhere. I'll be back in Kansas City. I mean, but listen, if Jonathan Taylor's available, I'd snag him in 2 seconds. I mean, he's the defending Super Bowl champions. No.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are probably in that position where you just take the best player available at that point.
Exactly.
I think there's not a glaring need that maybe they need to address right away. You could probably do something in the later rounds. They're good pretty much everywhere else, I think.
I think if you're a team,
offensive line, but
honestly,
in later rounds.
If you're the Chiefs, you always got to be getting a pass rusher or a guy in the secondary, because if you have a quarterback that throws it around like that, everyone's going to be throwing it around on you like that. So you got a good cover guy, even a cover safety, you know, nickelback, anything, luxury item, you know, outside pass rusher. Always good things to have.
Grant Delpit could be there for him too. Late in the first round,
Yep.
he may drop.
It's going to be a lot of receivers taken. Is basically what they're looking at here.
Yes, there will.
And Jordan Love, he has at 19.
Is it Vegas?
To Vegas. John Gruden, quarterback whisperer. Any other draft commentaries? I'll be back for the NFL draft. I'm not sure if I'll make it the whole draft, but I'll stay on for the first couple hours at least. If any of these guys want to join me, they have my Skype. They can just hit me. If they're not busy, you can join me. If they are busy, I'll sit here and talk by myself.
It starts at what, 6 o'clock? Or 8
I think
Eastern?
six your time. I'm on at 8. So
8 o'clock Eastern.
2 o'clock my time. Thursday night is
I can
turkey
check in
burger
about-
night here, so I'm not going to miss that.
Between 8:05 and 8:10. I have to pick up the wife from work. So
All right, well, you can join us
Okay.
late and, pop in. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to be here. You know how to reach me.
Okay. Yeah.
But, I think it'll be fun. Talk NFL
Yep.
draft.
I think the first 2 picks will be are locked, so I'm not too. I'll only miss those. Maybe even probably just the first one.
It'll be interesting to
What
see
is
how long it takes them to get those first couple picks out the door. To me, it always amazes me that it takes so long to announce the first and second picks. It's like most of these teams should have a guy in mind, and the Bengals are not entertaining trades, offers for their pick, and neither are the Redskins. So, what? If someone makes them an offer they can't refuse all of a sudden?
They got to keep the phones open. You never know. It's part of the process. Even though the pick is.
So, NFL guys generally not like NFL coaches, generally not guys that I think I would see like going into Best Buy and setting up the surround sound system in their house, right? Just
No,
these aren't the type of guys, and NFL general managers. I mean, these guys are even could be in the same category. Any technical glitches going to happen tonight during this virtual draft? Is there any chance that we just lose the draft altogether? Damn,
Hey,
Zoom!
man.
And it's like, how many times are we going to see like the spinning wheel of death on the screen?
Yeah. Could be. I mean, Roger Goodell's going to be in his basement of his house. You could imagine all the cables being, around his basement right now, setting up the studio.
Oh, they're
for
probably
him. So
they're
there
probably
could
hardwired.
be technical glitches, no doubt.
He's got to be hardwired, down there. He's got to be.
Yeah.
Basement not really
Sure.
known for being the best place to broadcast from.
Roger only makes $40 million a year. I'm going to say that.
I mean,
he'll
I'm
be
building the
okay.
studio in the back bedroom. I had to hardwire. Well, I'm sure the NFL paid for this. It's the draft. They still get the
That's
TV rights from ESPN. My guess, this is going to be the most widely watched draft in history.
You better believe it. I've gone on record that it's going to have Super Bowl ratings.
No, I don't know about that.
May even beat Roots or the final season of MASH or Who Shot JR.
I don't think
Watch.
it's going to be quite that high, but I think that it will be for NFL draft standards. More people will be watching than me, which is.
I'm half kidding, but it's going to be a big rate.
It is going to be a big one. What's it up against tonight? What's my Thursday lineup? I got Top Chef, and then what else is on Thursdays? Top Chef. I watch. Oh, Jersey Shore Jersey Shore Vacation. Is that on tonight? Challenge, or was that last night? You got everything DVR'd. Wednesday's always the big night. They replaced the Goldbergs last night here with Hawaii, like the Hawaii-born players that could get drafted in the draft, like a special on that. It's like you do it against the Goldbergs. You couldn't do it against like Aquafina from Queens or something, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that show, the Goldbergs. Steve, Goldbergs fan?
I gotta say, I've never seen it.
Oh,
Me either.
I'm gonna tell you guys. All right.
Shame on me, but I hear it's really good, but shame on me. I got it.
No. Jeff Garland
Yeah, from
Hilarious.
Curb is on it.
as the father, hilarious. The thing about the Goldbergs that makes it even more awesome is that the character in the show, Adam Goldberg, is the director of the show, and it's based on true stories from his life, like growing up in the 80s. And he has,
Okay.
because he was always a film guy, he has video footage. And at the end, they'll show like him doing what they're talking about in the show. Very good stuff.
Right.
I think that my guess is that you guys, any of you guys watch that, will love it. It's like they have one, like, you know, because they're in Philly, they have one like where I forget what it was. He was gonna get to be like it was like something and like meet Mike Schmidt or something, and then they show it's his brother, who's, you know, one of the great characters on the show too. He's gonna meet Mike Schmidt, and then they show like at the end, like him as an adult throwing out the first pitch, like he won some contest and he gets to throw out the first pitch, and Mike Schmidt is walking out onto the field, and he's like, "It's Mike Schmidt." But I think if you haven't seen that show, that's one. I mean, hilarious.
Yeah, I'll dial it in.
Really, one of the better shows out there of the regular broadcast comedy shows. You know, that one, Modern Family. You know, obviously that one been the two best shows of the last. That one, I think that show is up there. Like, I look forward to that one as much as I look forward to like Curb Your Enthusiasm or something like that.
Okay.
Definitely, as
High praise.
no, it's you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be like, I can't believe I never watched this show. Anyways, any other shows out there that we're missing? You know, a lot of my Miami friends are doing the Miami Vice recaps on Facebook. Who's your favorite character, you know, that was on the show? All-time favorites, doing the top 10 countdown.
I'm watching.
Nice.
Chris, what do you
Yeah,
watch?
the old man.
I'm hooked on this season of Top Chef, both
Top Chef?
All Stars and the Canada edition. But
I can kick all their ass.
I have to say, I've eaten, you know, throughout the years, I've eaten at a few of the restaurants that the contestants on the show have had, you know, and some of them were by chance, you know, and some of them were, you know, intentionally. I have to say that all of them have been home runs. The best one is so Stephanie Izard, who beat Richard Blaze in the final that year. In Chicago, she has two restaurants. One is called The Girl and the Goat, and that's like her higher end restaurant. But then she has what's called the Goat Diner, and it is phenomenal. It's ridiculous. And that one I've had, and then you know, here in Maui, Shelton, who was on there twice. He didn't win either time, but he was like, he's seen as like the best guy that never won. He has a restaurant here. It's really, really good as well. Rod, what do you watch? What's your programming? Survivor guy?
No.
what do you watch?
I watched Survivor at the beginning, but now it's just like, I can't watch this anymore.
So where are you
I
at?
no spoilers. I didn't watch it last night.
What's that?
I said no spoilers. I didn't watch it last night.
All right.
It's another one I've been watching.
I'm a Survivor guy.
I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you. I'm a Big Brother guy. I like the Big Brother show, but that's only in the summer. Well, it should be starting up, but probably not this year. We're probably gonna have to cancel that. I haven't heard anything about that.
It's like the perfect show for it.
How about the MTV
I know.
Challenge? Anyone like that? I'm a challenge guy.
I watched the first couple of them, but I fell off.
Jersey
after. I
Shore?
just couldn't keep track of what was on.
Jersey
God,
Shore?
no.
Oh, you guys
No.
don't get
No.
MTV, right? Is that what's going on here?
Oh, we get MTV.
Look at
I think
MTV.
it's,
You just
The-
don't like.
the list
You
is
know who
different.
Mike the Situation is. Don't even lie about it.
that's a
I've
6
heard-
degree of separation. I think somewhere down the line I'm related to him, but
I like Deadliest Catch. I watch Deadliest Catch. I like that show.
Do you see?
I
So
can do that.
did you see the you see the new one that they have where they're tuna fishing over on the Big Island?
what was that?
That's awesome. I'm sure like now
Yeah,
we're gonna get
tuna-
packed with tourists that want to fish here. Is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But what they don't
What's
realize
gonna
is that if you don't go off like with locals on that, you might not come back. That's the way that's
yeah.
that's the way that works.
Wicked Tuna.
Wicked
Yeah.
Tuna.
Not a
That was
fan.
good, yeah.
I like Wicked Tuna.
Not a fan. Not a fan of Wicked Tuna. I like Yukon Men. I always thought they should have,
Not the show.
but they
I
haven't
like
shown it
Yukon.
in a few years. But I've gone on
No.
a few Yukon Men heaters. You know, I have. And my first quarantine show this year that I had never seen before was Barbecue Pitmasters. That was just, I love that one. It's like it was like when we first lost sports. At Barbecue Pitmasters, nailed the brisket. It's like yelling at the TV, flip the cowboy stink. It's like, yeah. Anyways, I'd love to have the Houston Rockets to bust up our parlay right now. Anyways, let's get to some sim picks. Chris, how did we do yesterday? Jets?
They lost 31-10.
So they
to the
didn't cover?
Patriots. Yeah.
All right.
The Ravens beat the Dolphins 48-10.
I got that one.
2-0.
And the Seahawks beat the Giants 39-13.
All right, so I was
3-0.
2-1.
I was 3-0.
I think it was 2-1. So today at 12 Eastern, Colts at Texans. Texans minus 5.5, over under 54.5. I like Houston.
Houston.
Yeah.
Houston.
I'd say Houston, yeah.
Someone showed a graphic on the board. I think it was in the Facebook group of what the Texans got and what the Browns got in their draft day trade. Did anyone catch that?
No.
Let me see if I can
No.
find it. I don't remember who posted it, but it was. In the meantime, let me look for this. You're gonna love this one. So they switched first round picks. It was like one of these 13-12 things like the Dolphins are talking, right? So the Browns traded Brock Osweiler, and so they traded Brock Osweiler and the 25 pick in the draft, as well as the Texans' 2018 first round pick, and the Texans got Deshaun Watson. And that is how you go from being a playoff team every year to being the most disappointing team in football every single season. But
Who made that deal? Tannenbaum?
I think so.
All right.
They traded down. They traded the number 12 pick for 25 pick Brock Osweiler. It's like the Osweiler just having his name in there makes it even worse. I forget who they took with that 25th pick. It was
Doesn't matter.
let me see what it took. Oh, they used the one pick the next year to take Jabril Peppers. Another guy I hated when the draft came out. It's like he's sort of like the guy from Clemson coming out this year, except this guy's way faster. That's the only difference. He's a tweener, you know. Browns took. Who did they take?
So the Browns took Jabril Peppers.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
I think that's who they took with that pick the next year. Anyways, do the next sim game and I'll find out who they took.
All right, 3 Eastern. Bills at 49ers. 49ers minus 8.5. Over under 47.5.
I'll take the Bills.
Oh God, what a gruesome draft the Browns had. So they took Njoku. With it's, I think they traded out of that pick too because they didn't pick till 29th and they had gotten the 25th pick. So they took Njoku at the 29th, and then another guy who I just absolutely bashed on the NFL draft, the guy who Mel Kiper loved, DeShone Kizer. Hated the pick. It's like, here's a guy, and this was my impression of DeShone Kizer at Notre Dame. He can't catch the snap, okay? Fundamental problem here, okay? You have a quarterback that plays in the shotgun and has like more drops than any receiver in all of college football. It's like, this is a problem. It's like, oh, they can fix. They're going to work with them. They can fix that. It's like, no. This guy is looking this way when the ball is here. It's like, this is the problem. I do the same thing in golf, right? I'm looking at the green. I take a swing, big chunk of turf. I still do it. I do it less, but I still do it. We all do.
We all do.
We all do. Anyways, I got the Texans. Steve, Chris, what do we got?
Bills at 49ers. 49ers minus 8.5.
49ers have
Over
really
under
played
four.
a lot of games this week, so they're gonna be a little tired. Yeah,
I'll go Bills.
I'm on the Bills too. I just think the 49ers got to be worn down.
I like the 49ers here.
Has there been a team? I know that like different books are running different sim games, but has there been a book that runs the same team twice in one day yet? I wonder how they pick the matchups.
I've seen it where they do it on where they run the same game on 2 different back-to-back days. I've never seen it same days, but I've seen one game on this book, and then the next day, a different book is offering the same sim game.
Yeah, the one that we're covering here, the person I talked to said they just some of them are suggestions, other than or just like random matchups. 7 Eastern.
Because there's certain teams I think that we haven't seen in these sim games, or that we see a lot less than others. Like we don't see the Bears a ton, you know.
Like there was a run last week where we had a few like Super Bowl rematches. Like you had Baltimore, San Francisco, Kansas City. Those were games where they were just like, okay, can you put those 2 teams together? Okay, fine. But the other ones were just like random matchups.
Bills, Cowboys, twice. Giants, Patriots, twice.
Yeah, I think we had Giants Patriots.
Do they have
last
classic
week.
teams? I mean, they used to like the old Madden. They used to have the
I was
classic.
I was going to ask that, but I haven't seen them in this edition of the game, so I'm not sure. I
That
know
would
they
be
used to have, like
the
older
80s.
ones.
So I'm gonna guess like
Yeah.
the '85 Bears like probably would not be very good at this game.
Yeah.
I've seen other books do it. They've done a couple basketball ones like that. A couple basketballs, different like old school teams, old school basketball versus each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I've noticed the football one yet, but I've seen them do it in basketball. They could do
Okay.
we could do all-star games as well, right?
Yeah. Well, they did the Pro Bowl here, right?
Yeah, like the Pro Bowl. They did the Pro Bowl, but
7 Eastern, Packers at Patriots. Patriots minus 3.5. Over under 55.5.
I think the Packers plus 3.5.
Yeah, like the Packers.
I'll go to Pats.
Where's it at? Where's it at?
It's in New England.
I got the Packers.
And the 10 o'clock Eastern game, Steelers at Broncos. Steelers minus 6.5. Over under 49.5.
I think the Broncos.
I like the Steelers.
Steelers.
Steelers for me. All right. Well, I'll be back at 8 o'clock Eastern time, maybe 7:58-ish, in that area. It won't be too early. And I'll be here for the NFL Draft first round for as long as I can take it. It is turkey burger night here, and I generally like to eat early. I'm old. I eat early. I go to bed early. I'm up early. You guys know I do the show at 5 o'clock every day. And as soon as sports starts back up, I'll probably be doing it at 4 o'clock, 4:30. So we'll figure it out. But I will be around for at least part of the draft, and then if I take a break, maybe I'll come back and finish it up or something. But these guys will be here. They pop in and out if they want, come and go. Say somebody told you so's, or I can't believe it. Can't believe he was still on the board. Can't believe. Brock
Can't believe the Dolphins used the 3rd overall pick and traded up for Andrew Thomas.
That would be the end of the line. It's like
Just your reaction alone is worth popping on.
Speaking of the Dolphins taking Andrew Thomas with the 3rd pick, so imagine being the poor Dolphins ticket rep, that has to call around all the different season ticket holders, and they just kind of probably have 10 of these guys, and then they have a rotation of people, and they email you and call you and ask if you want to upgrade or do whatever you want. Imagine the poor bastard that gets me, right, and has to call me.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's like, is there anything else we can do for you? How about a head coach and a playoff team? How about that? It's like, I mean, you've never heard of Mitch filibuster until you've heard my differences in the way they run the organization between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins before. I'm like, do you think when the St. Louis Cardinals send out their email to their season ticket holders about parking passes, that they get as many phone calls not understanding the email that you guys get? You think they get more or less? Let's look at like a team like the St. Louis Cardinals. What do you think? It's like, and you think it's any coincidence that they're in the playoffs every single year and you guys never are? It's like,
that's right.
It's true. No, it has to be from the top to the bottom, and I'm the same way. I'm the same way with my websites. I am the same way. Ask Chris. I am the same way. I am nitpicky, and we have no slouches. We have no scrubs on our team. And it's like, if you're a scrub, you're on our team, you do not last. We've had guys come and go over the years. I'm the guy, like, if you ever saw the scene in Casino where it's like, he's like, that muffin has, my muffin's loaded with blueberries. Yours has none. He goes back to the chef, and his chef's like, he's like, I want the exact same amount of blueberries in every single muffin. And the chef is like, you know how long it would take? I don't care, And it's the same way, And the Dolphins are just they've half-assed it for long enough. They've half-assed it for long enough. I think Flores is a step in the right direction. I think he's the first real coach they've had in a long time. I think even when Bill Parcells was there, his heart wasn't in it. I think he was kind of just there to see if he could do it again. His heart wasn't in the Dolphins job. And I think,
Flores, and there's no doubt he's a fiery guy.
No, he cares. And it's like,
That's
someone
the
here
point.
commented, it's like, when the Dolphins went 5-11, I didn't think they were tanking it. It's like, a lot of people thought the Dolphins weren't going to win a game this season. I was one of the few people out there, the few handicappers and on the whole internet that had the over for Dolphins wins last year. 3.5, 2.5 or something. It was low.
Low, yeah.
All right. NFL draft. Let's see if there's any last minute news. Chris, any injuries in these sim games? We should note.
No, I know the Bills game, they mentioned that Frank Gore is going to be moved up to our running back 1, but that's it. Other than that, the Steelers game's in the snow. Nothing injury-wise.
The snow in Mile High? Nice. Go Denver.
So the Patriots have signed Marquise Lee to a 1-year deal. This guy's a good player. This guy's a good wide receiver. He's on the smallish side, though. Patriots, I think, they drafted the wide receiver last year. He was injured a lot of the season. He's good,
Neil.
But I wouldn't be surprised if, Julian Edelman might be on his way out in New England, too. I wouldn't be surprised. See him end up in Detroit or Tampa.
In Tampa?
No, I think the other landing ground for these Patriot guys is Detroit. Matt Patricia, he's got to do something.
Who's the guy we said the other day that was coming back or looking to come back? We'll put him on Tampa too.
Percy Harvin.
Percy Harvin.
Harvin. Yeah, I'll put him on Tampa too.
I think he could be in the Jags, but a little bit of isn't like one of those things where if Matt Patricia gets fired, where you're like quietly kind of happy about it, kind of like like when John Lynch lost in the Super Bowl. It's like I lost my bet, but at least John Lynch lost.
I just imagine how scary that would look if you see Tom Brady with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, OJ Howard, and then if they land at one of these top wide receivers, that's scary.
Yeah, well, who's gonna? That sounds like a pretty big payroll and not a lot being paid to your offensive line.
I'm just saying for the one you probably have. Yeah.
Tom Brady is not effective without an offensive line, and we've seen it. But I think that half those guys are injury risks too.
That's true.
Gronk misses the season. Is anyone shocked? No.
He's not missing the season. Come on now. He's got to get hit first.
I honestly think, and I'll say this, and it's like we had time to kill or whatever. We don't really have time to go. The show's basically over, but it doesn't matter. But I think that as much value as we got betting against the Phillies with the Bryce Harper pickup last year, I think we're going to get just as much value betting against Tampa Bay early. I think we're going to not only, I don't know if they're going to win or lose, but we're going to get some bad lines, which are good lines for us. A lot of people are going to be big at Tampa.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the public will jump on them, so you can probably get some numbers the other way. Doesn't mean they're not going to win games.
All right, well, that's it. I'll see you guys tonight.
You got it. You got it. Enjoy the draft.
Bet with your head and not your heart on these sim games. Have a good night, everyone. See you guys later.
Bye.